Ain't no Malcolm.
Okay.
Ain't no Martin.
Can I talk to you?
No, I'm telling you, I'm firm on what I believe in.
Let me talk to you for a minute.
I'm firm.
Let me step out for a minute. Yeah.
So what you do is you sit down with these goddamn criminals and you barter with them. And then when it's all said and done, you lose.
These are mostly.
But if somebody lose Yates,
thoughts,
everybody gonna answer to me.
I'm not saying that I'm standing up here just fighting for Yates. I'm fighting for all the schools. I'm fighting for our children. I didn't graduate from Yates. My school is already closed. I graduated from MB Smiley.
Why is it closed?
So let's understand,
Why is it
MB
closed?
Smiley was sold out by Sophronia Thompson and by our Congresswoman, and I'm on camera, Sheila Jackson Lee. So let's just understand that I'm not shouldering, and neither is any one person in here shouldering the responsibility of one school. What we are here to do is work collectively together
Now,
so
let
that
me
we
tell
won't
you what
be one
we're here to
figure.
do.
We'll,
What we here to do is clearly understand how this organization functions.
okay, well explain that. It's not my organization. I don't have a problem with that. But if you ask me, do I agree that charter is the answer in every situation? That answer is no today, it's gonna be no tomorrow. Or you ask me, am I supporting you in pulling the parent trigger? The answer is yes. Do I feel that we have to disclose what our plan is after we pull the trigger? The answer is no. Whatever we decide to do is what we decide to do, and each school is unique and individual, just as Ted is different from Errol and Errol is different from Gary. That's just what it is.
Errol and I are identical.
You know, I was wondering where did she get that from? Where did she get that from?
Yeah, so we are here to follow your lead.
We're on the
Can't
same.
follow.
We're on the same road.
You cannot follow a lead unless you follow.
I don't understand.
In order
what
to
that
be a
means.
good chief, you have to have been a good Indian. But while you were being a good Indian, you had chief tendencies in you the whole time.
I don't hear what you want to do that's different.
I don't want to do nothing. What I want to do is
That
something.
belies what you told me on the bus that I put in writing, and I added
You
it
did
to
a
the-
great job with it. You did a great job.
I did add some of my own thoughts, and I didn't identify what was mine and what was yours, but I said, if there's anything in here that you don't agree with.
So this is a working document.
A work in progress.
Yes.
And it certainly can be added to and amended in a lot of ways, but at least it's a fairly decent starting point.
Now, tell you
Or
what.
Not even starting, we've been around for months. Is there anything that you see on that printed page?
Oh
you
no,
don't?
no, I'm not about to start editing right now. We have a greater issue. That's the issue of commitment and leadership. That's what's on the table right now. So I appreciate you trying to move forward. This is a great document. But the founder of this group is sitting over to my right, to the left of the camera, behind the camera.
And he has money,
And I'm needing for
right? You
him.
got the budget, you got all the $5 that people have plunked down for months and months, I guess. That's what, it's gonna take some of that to create flyers to get the Kashmir parents out to a meeting.
Because the way it's looking, Gary, we can pull the trigger on Kashmir, like we said, whether the bill passes or not.
You can
So-
attempt to pull the trigger.
So gathering, I made the correct statement, Ted. We
Yeah.
can, meaning that there's an opportunity, there's the ability, there's the capacity to pull the trigger on Kashmir. So that means that that's something that we have the ability to do without question. So the question is, and I haven't talked to Ms. Shirley or John about it, how long does it actually take to gather signatures? I don't even know how many students there are at Kashmir. So
It's
if
easy enough to find
so
out.
if
You
each
just go to their
student,
website.
right, so if each student has at least one parent,
It's 264.
Signatures.
264
Kids?
signatures, yeah, that'd be fine. 264 what? Signatures that we need?
You need 134 signatures.
It's only 264 students at that whole school?
See, that's part of the problem. You know, it's such a unique, it's not unique, it's by design, because when you say, let's not shut down a school that has 270 students, that's a school you really pretty much shouldn't have open.
Well, no, you can't. The reason that I'm telling you can't say that is because we would have to look at the underlying issues
But that's what
as
I'm
to
saying.
why is it
What
only
led to that?
264 students
Right.
in the whole school.
Right.
That's because most of our students are over somewhere else on the
Right.
other side of town
Right.
because they have the resources, the programs, the equipment, they have the money.
And so, therefore, we cannot afford to allow student population to be a major measuring stick for what we have to do at the school.
Right,
We
which
can't
is-
allow that to happen.
Which is part of the CT2 under facilities. That's the section that deals with school closures and HISD policy.
Which would be the section would have to be suspended.
Right, so we need that suspended, but we don't need that suspended to pull this trigger. So
Right.
we need 134 signatures.
I'm gonna look up.
Y'all need
cashiers.
134.
Okay, does anybody know what the provisions are if the child is in foster care? The guardian signs on behalf of the parent? Because I've been thinking about all kinds of scenarios.
Are the only, that shouldn't be right. It can't just be parents. Because what about taxpayers?
Taxpayers are not part of the parent empowerment law.
So how do they determine?
Come
okay,
on
there's a-
now, come on now.
No, I didn't know. You know, I'm just trying to see so they can't pull any shenanigans because I'm paying for that school too. So it
But you
seems
can't sign the petition. You can be active in the community meetings. You cannot sign the petition. My question is, for students, let's say it's what do they call those students that are not homeless? Because you can be homeless and still have a parent.
transient.
You can be a transient. Can individual students sign for themselves if they are not living with a parent or guardian? They can only sign for themselves if they're 17, 18. Hey, how you doing?
What's the difference with the red?
It's just red.
Let me do it now.
So the foster parents can sign for the students that are in foster care.
You know, the reason why I said that is because what happens for a parent who has 4 children attending the school?
They said 50% of the parents, 50% plus 1. That means that you may come out with a percentage that's 50.039, as long as it's more than 50%. So that means that you're right. The deal is, if there's a parent that has 6 children, you're not gonna be able to count that parent's signature 6 times.
Right.
That's only 1 time. So
Right.
we need to know how many actual parents are.
Which means that's unfair to that parent.
But we can't challenge the law at this point. We gotta work with the law that we have. The law is already on the books. All we're doing is lowering the years from 5 to 2.
Okay, but if that little thing in there with the parents is a hindrance, that keeps you from getting your petition.
I don't think it's not a hindrance because it's been done. It's been done 6 times. So I was just asking Jerry if he had talked to Shirley or any of the other parents that actually signed and collected petitions. How did they determine who was able to sign for the student? And is it 50% of the parents, or you have to have, 50 plus 1% of the signatures for the number of students that are enrolled?
Well, that's an important formula.
Yeah, so that would be a question that Gary or somebody can ask. Huh? Okay, well, maybe we could outreach we could outreach our resources if we wanted to at this time. We could call Miss Shirley, we could call John, but our most important resource is right here in the room with us. And so if there's something that we need to take care of within us, then that's something that we need to do before we outreach anybody. I may be the one that needs to leave. You see what I'm saying?
Needs to leave.
Leave.
Oh,
Leave.
oh,
I may
yeah.
be the one that needs to leave the room. You see what I'm saying? Elvis has, left the building, whatever it is. So all I'm saying is that I am for the cause 100%. I'm for parent empowerment. I'm for pulling the trigger. all of the different options that are available to us after the trigger is pulled, they all have some merit. I do believe that there are some that have more merit than others. But the order that I put those different options in are may not be your order, or Gary's, or Ted's. But that's my personal thing. I don't have to put something before, I don't have to put reconstitution before restructuring, you know? But as a group, if the group is deciding, hey, that's the direction that we're gonna move in after we pull the trigger, then that's the group. I mean, that's the way that's moved. I mean, I don't decide how everybody in this group moves. But I do know one thing, we need to move towards pulling this trigger because we have nothing right now.
And your biggest task is going to be building a coalition because it's going to take, whatever you do, it's going to take more than 10, 15 people. You can't have a large number of opposing groups internally fighting while they're even sitting over there laughing at you.
Exactly.
It just can't happen.
That's
so there has to be some things you can agree on, we can move on and make those things happen.
So we're agreeing that the power needs to be taken away from HISD. I have a clip now, the clip of Harold Devin stating that he trusts the parents more than he trusts the legislators. I'm sure you guys may have that clip also. But at the end of the day, it appears as though the movement, whether it's the state taking the schools away from the ISD or the parents taking the schools away from the ISD.
I'm a teacher, and I'll admit I want the parents to take the schools
And I agree
away.
with you. What I'm saying is, it appears as though with the momentum and the spirit and what I was able to pick up by being with these people is that the legislators are tired of the ISDs because they know the ISDs are selling all of us a bag of rocks.
And let me interject a few things. I'm at the Kashmir data information. The school has an enrollment, or did in 2011-12, which is the last year that it's available, 535 students. They have some improvements. This is improvements. Well, not necessarily. I'll just tell you that the graduation rate